This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo. That's the name of the show. Today I have Maritza Perez, right?
Yes.
Just making sure, because I only call her Maritza, I never say her last name. We're actually right now in Orlando, Florida. We're at her house, actually.
Welcome to my house.
We met online through LinkedIn. She has placed many people in my podcast, and she's gonna get into that later. But first, Maritza, how are you?
Good, I'm great, and I am fulfilled having you here. Feeling very, very happy because finally I meet you in 4D, in the flesh.
In the flesh, right? Taking connections offline is always a nice thing, because online it's great. I love the flexibility that gives us, that we can connect with anybody in the world. But there's nothing like taking connections offline, and that's why I love doing these things. We just ate amazing Colombian dinner. Or not dinner, breakfast.
Yeah.
I almost say dinner.
But you can have that. The good thing about Colombian or Venezuelan food, for breakfast, you can have it at any time. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah, because we got the empanadas. They were like, you can eat that anytime, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Technically it could be dinner. Arepas, empanadas, pan trenzado. I mean, we amazing food. We got some cafecito. We got some in here right now. So Maritza does a lot of work in like administrative and social media, podcasts, and a lot of things. She has a lot of talents. But I'm gonna let her tell you more about that. So let's kick it off with a quick introduction about yourself and your company.
Okay, so my name is Maritza Perez, and I'm the CEO and founder of MP Virtual Assist, a boutique of visibility agents and virtual assistants that support speakers, coaches, writers, and any entrepreneur who wants to increase their visibility via social media or podcast interviews.
Which is something that is extremely valuable nowadays, and mainly because when you do podcasting, you, like, both ways, right? Like being a guest and also being a host, you are able to network with authority. That's what I call it, because rather than, hey, let's do a coffee chat, or let's do an intro call, discovery call, hey, let's do a podcast. Yes. Let's set up the discussion first for the podcast, which it kind of becomes that discovery call, that intro call. Then you do the podcast, which is where you start building that relationship. You lead with value if you're the host, and if you're the guest, that's the way to kind of get into the ecosystem or
Yes, exactly. One of the things that I love about podcasts is that podcasters do these with passion. Like the two of us, we have our podcast. You have your podcast, I have my podcast, and we do it with passion, and we want to enhance that message that the guest has and bring it out to our audience. And therefore, the podcaster world is very friendly about welcoming you with your message, with your company, with your products, with your services, because they also are business owners or they are inventors with other people. So they have been, or we have been, on those people's shoes, and we know what to ask, we know when to ask, and like right now, you know what to ask from me, so that we get it out there to the public. And the other thing is that it's evergreen, so it doesn't go away like a Colombian topic. So it doesn't go away like a TV show or a radio interview that is just the one time and it was the 7-minute segment and goodbye. No, it's there all the time, and you can watch your episodes, the episodes of your podcast, and I watch them, and I can watch them any day.
Yeah, and more than that, because sometimes, you know, some TV segments, they leave it on and all that stuff, right? So even more than that is that it's so relaxed. So in TV, you're so tight, you got two minutes and a half or something, you just gotta get everything bam, bam, bam. In here, it's something that's like so much more relaxed. Like, you know, like we just make it almost as, let's just set up the camera and have the conversation that we would have anyway.
Exactly.
So that's what I really love about podcasting. And the other thing is on like the sharing the networks part. So now, if it's my podcast, right, like I share it to my people, but then now it's you are the guest, so you want to share with your network. So this is a great way to not only show to your network the authority and look, I'm here, and expose yourself, but also expose the host, right, and vice versa.
Yes. So that's one of the things that my company is. We are pro host, so we understand how difficult it is to build your audience, and therefore that's why we do a done for you kind of services, where we not only position our clients in the podcast interview, we also tell them, don't worry, we will do everything else for you. We will send it to your social media, put it in your social media. We will give you the swipe so that you can make a newsletter. We will give you the graphics. We repurpose the one interview into different snippets so that you can use it as social media content. Therefore, and then we use SEO hashtags, that one of them is the name of the show, the name of the host. So we are always promoting. Every time we promote again the host and the show.
I love that, and I like always asking about actionable tips or advice, giving you expertise, and based on what you just said, which is an advice that I give to a lot of people, is having a podcast and creating video, like long form video, right, which is a podcast. Do the video if you're doing a podcast for sure. So that way you have a great source content that now you can turn into so many things, like you said, right? You have the video, you can take the transcript, put in ChatGPT, have newsletters, have different posts and captions and things, and then now, okay, let me take the audio and distribute it through podcasts, take the video, put it on YouTube, take different parts of clips and then put it on shorts, and then like through all like major shorts platforms. So it's a great way to make it easy for you to put as much content as possible. Do you agree?
Yes, exactly. And then now I had somebody new that we're doing a beta where we're converting some of the shows, some of the interviews into a newsletter. And then a blog. Sometimes the interviews are, especially if the interview is philanthropic or specific into a market, like if it is marketing specific or branding or something that is very specific, you can convert it into a blog.
Yeah, I what I'm doing right now is I do 3 takeaways from every podcast. I mean, I have a system where my assistant uses in artificial intelligence, and then using this source content. That's why it ends up being so good, because if you go to AI and you ask for some content, it's gonna be very generic, very robotic. But if you give it, look, use our words, our input, and now make a newsletter out of it, you notice that it's gonna be in your voice and all that, because it's using your voice, right? Yeah. So that's how we're doing. So every single podcast, I mean, you see your clients have been on my podcast and getting those things, which is which is great because it adds way more value than just, oh, here's the podcast, it's distributed, that's it. No, here's the podcast, here's the 3 takeaways that goes through my LinkedIn newsletter. Also, some of them, not all of them, make it to like my email newsletter, and then like, you know, post and things like that. And we take certain things that we want to do on a specific post. So.
And it's very important because these conversations are full of amazing content and expert content, and the best thing that you can do is leverage from it. And not only we are learning from the guest their expertise and tips from them, but now we're also sharing and making a collaboration. And now people not only know about the host, but they also know who is the expert that does it.
I completely agree. It's a great way to nurture, to build trust, because when you see people, like for example, there's might be some people that watch this and they might be on the fence of buying from us, or at least one of us.
Yes.
Right? And then they see this type of interviews, like, oh look, like they're together in her house, they ate, like look how nice they are. They seem like real, genuine
Human
people, right?
Yes.
Honest people. It's like, oh look, like they look like people that I can trust. And that's the most important thing in business is to be able to know that you can trust, right? Like that know, like, and trust part is the most important, so business happens. Because if they don't trust you, it doesn't matter if you say that you have the cure of cancer and they have cancer.
Yes.
If they don't trust you, like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yes, it is very important to also show your human side, show who that you are just like them, trying just to make a life and a living.
I completely agree. Is there any last takeaways you would like to leave the audience with?
So increasing your visibility, I will say it is very easy, and in many instances is free, and you can do it on your own. But if you are a busy entrepreneur, I suggest that you use the experts that are out there, whether it's my company, your company, or anyone else, because these are people that have done it more than once, more than twice, and more than 3 times. These are people that have strategized how to do it, and you will leverage and you will find that you will be seen as an expert in an easier and faster way than when you try to do it yourself.
Yeah, that is great advice. So thank you for leaving us with that takeaway, because it was fire. So thank you. And there's gonna be some people that probably feel like, look, I'm trying to post myself, or I have this VA that I hired myself, and I don't even know how to train them to be able to help me with the podcast, help me with the content in general. So those people might feel like, look, I want to connect with Maritza. So I wanted you to tell, what is the ideal type of person that you like to work with or connect with, right? It doesn't have to be to work directly, and how can they find you?
Okay, so basically we work with speakers, authors, and coaches, but any entrepreneur or consultant as well that wants to, it is very busy and they need the help. They want to be out there in interviews for podcasts. They need the help on how to build content for their social media, or they simply need a virtual assistant but they don't know where to find it, or they find themselves hiring a virtual assistant and having that turn off over and over again. We can match. We do a matchmaking service as well for VAs. So we can find a virtual assistant that is for you, specifically for what you need and the task that you need. We also have different freelancers for once in a while tasks that you might need. So the way you can find me is by going to my website, mp-virtualassist.com, or you can find me on Facebook at MP Virtual Assist, or on LinkedIn, Maritza Perez.
Great. You guys heard it there. I'm gonna have the links in the description, so to make it easy, you can just go and click. But I like always to for the guests to really state what are the best channels to connect with them. So thank you, Maritza.
Thank you
for being here, or for having me in your house.
You're welcome for having you in my house.
And for taking me to the amazing food. That was amazing, and the cafecito. So this was Maritza Perez and Fu, and this is us signing off.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Fu with your host, Fu. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.